reconvene into open session. Time 6:04. Okay, as far as the first cause number, it really cannot be talked about in open session. So if there's, it's mainly an update. And as far as number 2, she said she could speak to the public in open session. But if any of the commissioners had questions, then it would have to go into executive session. So if you would like to call her on item agenda 2.
Well, you get the other one because it's louder.
Okay.
This one's louder.
Mayor, if you don't mind, it's up to you. If that's live, the citizens should probably hear that too. If you don't want to put your 2 phones together during that update from the attorney.
Can we do this live with her?
That's live.
I can move it closer if you'd like.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll pick it. I mean, it's more than look at anything. Like, put it down.
Yeah.
So the video will just be not a video, just audio. It's still going to be recording in a video manner. Just lay it flat.
Thank you.
So are we doing the petition?
Yes.
Okay.
The other cannot be talked about in open session. It's just an update.
Hello?
Paige, this is the mayor, and we are in open session to discuss item number 2, a petition to call an election to recall the mayor.
Yes, ma'am. The city received on last Monday a petition calling for an election on the question of recalling the mayor position from the city commission, and section 24 of the city's charter requires that there be a certain number of signatures on the petition to be compliant with the process. That number is 30% of the qualified voters that voted in the last regular municipal election. The petition contained 1 signature, so it does not comply with the city charter. It's therefore my recommendation that the commission act on an ordinance rejecting the petition, and the ordinance containing findings that the petition is not compliant.
I appreciate it, Paige. Thank you for your call.
Are there any questions, or
Are we going to go the same round that we went last time, where our city secretary gets sued and then we're dragged through court again over the petition? Probably didn't hear me.
Paige, did you hear Commissioner Irwin?
I can't tell you what someone would do in reaction to that action by the commission.
So that's a possibility.
If you'd like to discuss legal risk, I would suggest we do that in executive session. I will say that the court's ruling The two courts ruling did not address the question of the required number of signatures.
Okay, thank you.
So the court's ruling's not binding on this issue.
Is there any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you.
We're gonna let Tammy get that back.
Agenda item number 9, discuss and consider reconvening the open session to take action as determined appropriate and at the city council's discretion regarding cause number CV 2246534, Ranger Airfield Maintenance Foundation of the City of Ranger in the 91st Judicial District Court in Smith County, Texas, and Ranger Airfield Foundation lease agreement. And 2, a petition to call an election to recall the mayor. On item number 1, there is no action.
Mayor, should that say no action, or that one wasn't taken up by council?
Council, what do you say?
On cause 1?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do it.
Okay. So if nothing was done on anything, there's no vote, right?
On cause 1?
Mm-hmm. So therefore, there's no action to be taken. Am I correct?
Yeah, I was just stating that that wasn't taken up and no action implies as if you took no action on it. But we just need to state that was not, there was nothing discussed on that for minute purposes. Council didn't hear anything regarding that.
The lawyer just said it was basically an update.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't know why we need to have an executive session for an update.
That was, the attorney did that, that was the advice of the attorney.
What do you say? You're welcome to go to executive session. For what? For the cost with the airport. But like I said, I won't go.
No, I think we're done with it. I think we've discussed that and we're finished with it.
So then there's no action.
Right. Okay.
And number 2, a petition to call an election to recall the mayor. I make a motion that I better abstain since it concerns me. So we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to reject the petition.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Item agenda number 10. Discuss, consider consent items, the approval of monthly department reports.
So this is a little bit out of order, and I apologize. It starts first with the sales tax allocation. For February, total deposit received $51,777.39. EDC A and B each received $3,236.09. Street repair fund received $6,472.17. City Bond Construction Fund received $10,000. Texas Water Development Board Debt Service received $4,000, leaving the general fund a deposit total of $24,833.04. This payment was up 16.8% from last year and up 21.95% for the year. The next, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I believe we have some citizens that would like to speak.
Do you wanna go through the reports and then I'll?
Yes.
Okay. The next two pages are the balance on the account as of March 9th, 2024. And then the profit and loss for February 2024. Total utility revenue of $219,973.46. That's on page 1. Page 10, total expense $307,587.30, leaving a loss of $12,358.92 for the month of February. The next is expenses by vendor summary. I have some comments on these, but I'll let you ask your questions first and see if there are any of the ones that I was going to know. Do you have questions on that?
What is the waterway?
Waterway is the fire truck inspections. The mobile fire extinguisher services, the annual inspections of fire extinguishers. The Eastland County Water Supply District was $147,4582. That was discussed the last time. GFOMT is the Finance Conference and Training. That's also where the Kalahari Resort is. That's where the conference is being held. That's Carol attending. Main Street Oil and Lube, that's not a typical vendor since Gary's is no longer, Russell's no longer at Gary's. Fire Department oil change was there. Onsolve is the Code Red annual payment. Ryan Williamson, street contract labor. Searchy Acquisition Company is Police Department for evidence and things like that. That's where we order. United States Postal Service, that one was a little large. 2 postal buildings and then the permit renewal.
Amazon.com, what is that for?
That's different office supplies or things that the guys need in the field. Is there any questions that we have that I did not hit?
Yes, report review.
Yes, if we're in not, that's attorney.
The Ranger Municipal Court.
Ranger Municipal Court, those are court citations. Yes, ma'am. Is there any other questions on that? Okay. Library report, beginning petty cash balance $78.40. Total credits $246.90. She had a total of $271 put in as the deposit and $54.30 remaining in petty cash. She had a total of 186 people for the month of February at the library. A board report, they have the deposit of $3,236.09. And an expenditure, which we have questions on that, we'll have to get with the A board and ask those. Leaving a check balance of $352,836.47. Does anybody have questions so we can know to ask them? B board, checking balance of $143,483.56, deposit of $3,236.09, remaining balance $146,719.65. Court report. Here, I believe Joe Barker wants to speak on this.
Yes, ma'am.
The citation by officers are 56. Code enforcement animal control is 0.
Now, can you speak up?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Officer citations are 56. Code enforcement animal control is 0. Total citations are the 56. Monies collected, kept by city, $4,011.70. Remitted to the state, $2,427.80. Total collected for the month of February, $6,439.50. Jail credit cases, 6 of them. The agency cases, I had 2, which we had to waive $531.50. If you look down, the collections on the arrest warrants is $15,878.43. Outstanding on payment plans, I have $13,092.80 outstanding on payment plans. placed with collections from February 23 to February 24, $126,132. Total collections as of this report for MVBA and previous. So that goes all the way back to Shirley Griffith days when she was here. 714,110.25. My collection company is MVBA. They send out monthly letters, postcards, text messages, phone calls to try to get these people in to pay. Whenever they go to collections, I send if they hold the Texas driver's license, I send that to Omni, which holds their license. They cannot renew it until the court costs are paid. The ones that don't have a driver's license, that's the main reason for collections. They call, they text, they send. Just today, I probably had 8 people call me from the MVBA sending out letters. Just today. And arrest warrants were issued whenever I sent them to collections and Omni. The next pages that you have in your packet are the citations written by the officers. We had 2 officers write for the month of February, and their citations are noted in the report.
Anyone have any questions?
So how many payment plans does the court have approximately? How many people, the number?
I don't have a number. I can get the number for you though.
Ballpark?
Ballpark, probably 300, 400. And that's not just local, it's everywhere.
So what's the average payment that they pay?
My monthly payment was $50, but I raised it to $100. So I have to pay $100 a month. If they do not make a payment, I have to issue what's called a show cause hearing. They come before me. They tell me why they can't make a payment. If it's good enough, then we work on maybe a lower payment that they can make. If not, they have the options. The state says I shall give them community service if they cannot make a payment. So if they fail to do community service, that's when the arrest warrant is issued with a commit hearing and possibly a commit to jail to sit it out the fines. But I have to go through all these steps before the jail is the last thing, because the court is not they call it in judge school a debtor's jail. I can't put them in jail if they just owe a debt. They have to show cause that they cannot pay it. If they claim indigency, I have to waive it. They say I shall waive it. It's just a step-by-step process. But I always try the payment plan first. Always. Then go to community service.
Any other questions?
Like the other PDs in the county, to where when a person gets stopped in some county, that officer will know to arrange a warrant.
I made a book, gave it to PD, and Casey is in the process of entering. I believe he's up to J
How's he entering them? Where's he entering them?
on eForce.
Okay.
That way it's all for locals. I don't enter the Dallas-Fort Worth. And I am looking into going to Stevens County to see if their jail would do a contract with us when our jail is closed.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Fire department report. Responses for calendar year total for the month from January 1, 2024 to February 29th, 2024. EMS 128, fire 20, total of 148. That's a total of about 74 a month. They do have a new reporting system, so that's why the reports do look a little different than what you're previously seeing. Police department report, do you have any questions on that?
questions?
Public Works report. Total gallons from Eastern County Water Supply District, 19,317,000. At the time of this report on February 28th, there was 1,364.57 feet of water. Last month was 1,364.97. Stage 2 is still in effect. Flushing and leaks, there was 5 leaks. There was flushing, which is mandated by the state. Wastewater treatment plant flow, they had 8 backups. It's not all of them. Sometimes people call and they don't call City Hall. There were several streets that were, Stephen noted that they were potholed, Oak and Austin, those two, Plain Creek on 254 down by Shopping Basket to hopefully help with the waterway there, and across over by the railroad tracks. Current expenses of the sanitation station for the month of February is $2,076. There was 4 roll-offs. Commissioner Irwin, that kind of might give an idea. And then there was a total of 78 work orders issued from City Hall. And then if I may go back to the finance report, at the beginning of the meeting, there was an address of a local vendor being put on credit hold. They could sit on credit hold, and this credit hold was from $42.60. And this was due to not a supply of invoices not being supplied. The finance director, Carol, went down to his system to access his software because he cannot do it. So she was able to print the outstanding invoice, and she reconciled and brought the check to me. It was $42.60.
Well, I do have some questions on this. One of them I asked you last week,
Yes, ma'am.
and that was on the salary of the courts. It has increased on the budget by $11,000, even though we've not met and approved any changes to the budget.
So
And I didn't get an answer, so.
well, I wanted to do that and with all of council,
Okay.
if I may, Commissioner Irwin.
Mhm.
And the budget and P&L on the finance report, it's not just the court salary, it's all salaries. They are not increased, their base pay is still what was approved by council and for the October 1 budget. That includes salary, TMRS, Social Security, Medicare, and the unemployment. So if you go back to your budget, we broke all that out so you could see the individual expense on a payroll liability. But for reporting on QuickBooks, all that is one because it's a payroll liability.
Okay, so you're telling me this figure is what?
It's their base salary, which was approved in the budget, plus TMRS, the Social Security and Medicare.
Why is that not broken out by department though? That's what I guess I'm not understanding. Why do you not have line items in here for that?
That's a payroll liability. QuickBooks is not automatic. So that's an automatic overhead with an employee.
So basically okay, so we can't look at this and tell what the actual salary is.
You can on
Because you've
your,
got all of this other in here.
you can on your budget that was passed October 1. All
This
through-
right here says annual budget, salary, 82,000.
Yes.
That's not what we passed. We passed salary, 71,000. See, I guess that's what I'm saying. The budget we passed doesn't look like this.
Right, so that's part of the salary. You automatically pay a percentage of Social Security, TMRS, unemployment, and Medicare on every employee.
Okay, but we
Based on
budgeted
their
that, but we
salary.
budgeted each deal. So that's what I guess I'm saying, is that I understand why this doesn't look like what we passed as the budget.
So the budget is broke out so that you could see it individually. And if you go back and look at your budget, if you still have it, if not, I can get it. It says TMRS and it has an amount. All of those are added in with the salary. You add all those up and it equals that number.
Okay, so we're back.
Yes,
Figure
ma'am.
it out. Okay.
If not, I can give it if you prefer.
Well, no, I mean, I know what the budget looked like that we passed.
Yes, ma'am.
Just normally when you pass a budget and it looks like this and you vote to pass it, then these reports that you get would have the same annual budgeted figures. In other words, if you've got something on here that says salary, it should be the salary that you voted on and that was set in the budget.
If you look underneath,
I mean, I get what you're saying, but that's not how we budgeted it. That's what I'm saying.
if there's not a code listed underneath the TMRS, and all those, if you look next to it, that part's blank, so it's all added into the salary, which has one code for expenditure.
Okay.
Any other questions by commission?
So, sorry. Was that all the questions that, because I wrote them down, so I had them ready.
Do what?
Was that all the questions we talked about?
I think so.
Okay.
I think maybe.
Just want to make sure.
Okay. No, I didn't decide any more questions on it.
Okay. Yeah, you're good, Mayor, sorry.
All right, I believe that, Mr. Mose to address.
Yes, Mayor, Council, thank you again. Regarding the list, the vendor list that's in the reports, the Eastern County Water Supply District is a vendor. The Water District cost alone is more than the remaining 59 vendors combined. I may be mistaken, but I don't think the city manager goes to all other vendors to provide updates, quite simply because the city is the customer. It would also be shocking to see one of our vendors run a story in the newspaper telling the city, the customer, to not question their actions. The total cost of the city for February was $371,000. Of that, the Water District represents $147,000, or 40%. It remains the city's single most expensive expenditure. Thank you.
Another,
That's gonna probably be me.
sorry, I would probably mess up the last name.
Everybody does.
And,
Well, that's one way. I just wanna know, mine's pretty simple. I know Darryl Fox is our licensed code enforcement officer. Is there another one? Do we have another code enforcement officer that is licensed?
No, there's not licensed. Any officer can write on a code.
How can you enforce it?
Any licensed peace officer can write on a city ordinance.
So basically, they're not a code enforcement officer, but they can write up somebody, correct?
An ordinance is a law of the city, therefore they can enforce the law.
Just needed to know,
Yes, ma'am.
because I didn't get an answer from someone that asked on a private page, so.
Okay.
I wanted a little clearer discussion. Thank you, ma'am.
and then Mr. Brian Rogers.
Fairly straightforward, hopefully. We have 3 people running for Eastern County Water Supply District. Steve Durst, Charles Gatlin, and Dan McKinnis. The 2 offices that are up for election in Eastland are uncontested, so there's nobody running for those. On the water, city manager used to say, what we bought, what we sold, and our loss, and we gave a percentage of that. What is our percentage for February?
I'll have to get back with you.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just want to know where we're at on that. I asked for the entire year 2023 as well, and the percentage is broken down by month, on how much water we've lost.
Okay. Did you ask for that through a PIR center? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I emailed her in advance. I asked her a convenient time. I did what I said I'd do. I do the old school. I get the reports, doing it like people have asked for it to be done. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a motion to accept the reports as read.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion to have a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Item agenda 11, discuss, consider adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Mayor, can I ask a question? And the meeting's over. I'd just like to know who figured out that a recall was an agenda item.